A great episode that focused almost solely, again, on Kurapika. But the action was great, the story was great, and shit is about to get real. Hunter x Hunter, episode 40. Nen users unite. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and battle-filled York New City adventure of Hunter x Hunter. Our last episode saw us, the first episode really where we did not see Gon at all and focus solely on Kurapika and kind of his learning of Nen, and then of course this month leading up to them meeting up in York New City, and really ended with him as well as several other bounty hunters. Or hunters, whatever you'd like to call them, kind of all vying together for this job, for this collector of body parts, whatever, obscure, weird body parts. Nonetheless, though, the episode ended with with this mysterious figure coming on the screen and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have to make sure you're strong too, so you have to actually leave this mansion alive." And then a bunch of ninjas burst in, and it looked all shit was about to hit the fan and go down. And I want to see Kurapika and them chains going. Anyways, that's where the episode left off, and that's right where it picks up, and we get to see, kind of the whole minute or so reenactment leading up to that, as we usually do. But as these ninjas go and come bursting in, Kurapika goes and they show this this cool ring finger chain, and he's got these rings on each one of his knuckles, and the chains all wind up coming together into this one chain with a ball on the end of it, and he's able to spin it around, use it as a shield, and there's probably endless possibilities with this thing, especially when he learns more about being able to control and use his Nen and whatnot. So anyway, the shit hits the fan, man, and there's I don't know, there's six, I think there's a half a dozen assailants, ninjas, whatever, with swords coming in on them. Then three more burst through the doors with guns and start firing. And it's cool to see all these different Nen users and how they work together. We find out the names of some of them here, and I actually wrote them down to make sure I wouldn't forget. And the dude with the big pork chop sideburns, or whatever, the big strong dude, his name is Basho. And then the very sexy woman, I think she's very sexy in her little crop top, and that's able to kiss people and make them kind of fall in love and be her love slaves. Her name is Baze. And then the little, I thought it was a little gopher-looking boy because it's got this receding hairline. It's actually supposed to be a girl. It says her name is Melody. We get to see them all work together, though, in different ways. It's cool because one of them goes and flips a table and uses it. The other one dives behind it. And then we go and we see the butler takes a bunch of bullets and shots and whatnot. Because he jumped in front of the woman, Baze, because she had kissed him, and obviously now that's her special slave, And then Kurapika just goes and starts twirling this chain, dude, and creates a I don't know, a shield, I guess, with the chain. It's spinning so fast, and the bullets that are coming at her, I thought they were deflecting at first. She goes and stops spinning the chain. It slows down, and you can actually see the bullets were caught in the chain. So, dude, Kurapika next level with that stuff. Very, very cool, What winds up happening, though, is everybody starts fighting and everything like that, and Kurapika winds up jumping up to the second level to kind of survey the situation, and then all of a sudden, and she's like, okay, he's like, there's six with swords, 3 with guns, and then all of a sudden 2 appear behind him and start, swinging with swords, and he jumps to this chandelier. He winds up finding out because there's a couple other people in the room as well that were never introduced or seen. And there was this other guy with these sideburns, these kind of curly Q sideburns, this little mustache, more of a fair-haired type of guy. She winds up going, or I keep calling it she, apologize. It's because it's a female voice actress that does it, so it has a little bit of a higher octave to the voice, Anyway, Kurapika, he winds up jumping down and putting a knife to this dude's throat and is like, I'm going to give you till the count of 3 to stop it, to stop them, And he was able to tell that this was an actual plant that was put in there, and he winds up admitting to it and everything else. And it's cool I love how the explanation of everything, and that's what I like, is that then he explains about how he couldn't tell until he jumped up to survey the situation and realized that no one was attacking this guy. That was number 1. Number 2, all of a sudden 2 appeared behind him, trying to attack, and then when he jumped to the chandelier, they still just kind of kept flailing wildly instead of trying to jump to the chandelier with him. So he presumes that the command was basically just attack the nearest person, the nearest foe, right? And as he breaks down everything that he saw and whatnot, and that's how he figured it out. But he also figured it must be somebody close within a few meters to be able to control 11 people using the aura, using your aura for Nen to actually be able to, to conjure these up or to manipulate and create these things, And then even what's his name, Basho winds up saying that, when you hit one of the guys, you could feel that it didn't feel solid, didn't feel like a solid human, So it was really cool to see that whole explanation and how everything went out. And then the next portion of the episode goes and plays out with kind of almost like a clue, if anybody ever played that game. They're trying to figure out if there's another plant in the audience, so to speak, in the ones that are left. And there's this one dude with his purple shirt on, got his hair pulled back, kind of got like dreadlock looking, hair. And Kurapika does this thing with where he holds the chain down and holds it toward, in front of everybody for a couple seconds. And the only one where it starts to swing a little bit back and forth like a pendulum is this one dude, right? So he just straight up accuses him, you must be a plant as well, And then we kind of see some of the other powers, because this guy Basho, he winds up having the power of when he writes these poems, these haikus or whatever, that's like what his village does, they come true. So he winds up writing this haiku about a liar. Well, he does a demonstration first, but then after he does it, he writes this other one, and he says, anyone who lies, who doesn't answer my question, truthfully, will burn to a crisp, right? Burn to nothing. So he asks everybody, are you a plant? Are you a plant? Goes around, right? And then even goes to the guy that already admitted he was, and he's like, yep. And then he goes and he's like, now be careful before you answer, So this dude's sweating bullets, and he eventually comes out, and I love it. He just eventually comes out, he's like, yeah, fine, I am, but, what of it? They find out that, some of the other traps that'll be waiting for them on the way out of the mansion is that he uses his Nen to command all the different dogs. The smaller ones to bite and slow them down, the larger St. Bernard-like one to kind of smother them, the Dobermans to come in and attack, and then if they even get past them, then the Bulldogs. And it's really neat how they explain all this stuff, and but the bottom line is they wind up getting this dude, the girl winds up getting this dude to go, and she winds up, kissing him, and that's how all the information winds up coming out. And then, the girl winds up saying, Baze winds up saying, command them not to leave us alone, take your Nen off of them, So anyway, as they're all walking out, they all introduce themselves to each other except for Kurapika. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He's like, I think he's thinking, hey, we may eventually, we're vying for I don't know if there's only one position available or what, but we may become adversaries or enemies, and you don't need to be knowing who I am, where I'm going, whatever, he's real sketchy on that type of stuff. But all in all, it was pretty cool because they did introduce, and give us the names of at least the 3 others. And I have a feeling that they'll pop up in some way, shape, or form, albeit in the next episode or at least in the near future. So, and if I'm wrong, so be it. But I still liked them. I enjoyed their powers, And then it goes and it gives us a little bit of a departure, and it takes us to what is his name? Miliki? I think it was Miliki. Was the fat sack of shit brother of Killua, the one that sits around and does nothing but masturbate and drink Mountain Dew and whatever. He's got his action figures, and it looks like he plays a lot of video games. And that's fine. I got action figures. I play video games, too. But my hands aren't sticky from Mountain Dew and masturbating. And that's what he looks like. I just didn't like him anyway, the way he treats Killua and stuff. But he winds up going in. I guess he's able to actually decode that memory card for the Greed Island. And he's going to attempt to go and I guess recreate the game or something along those lines to solve it or what have you. And he's got some buyer on the hook that'll buy the memory card from him for 50 billion Jenny, which, like I said, I equate to like yen or whatever. 50 billion of anything is a lot, okay? So when you think about it in those terms. And then the last portion of it is we actually check in for like a minute or two, and we actually see Gon and Killua. They're on the boat. They're on their way there. And really the whole point of that was to serve as, we see that the way that Killua and his brother communicate with each other is through like a trained hawk or eagle or something along those lines. And, the brother, Milike, I think his name is, winds up going and giving him that information, that URL for the, the website, the hunter-only website, and sends the bird off on his way. When we check in with Gon and Killua, they're just hanging out at the topmost part of the mast of the ship. Not even a crow's nest or anything, just chilling at the top of it. And they're like, oh, we're getting close to York New City. We find out that it's about 2 weeks before their meetup time of September 1st. So they're going to have to gather as much information as they can about Greed Island in that, the game, obviously, in that particular amount of time, and find out what they can. And then at the end, we wind up seeing that, that obviously the eagle the eagle has landed. The eagle has made it back to Killua, so now he actually has that URL, and they can start searching or trying to get some leads through that Hunters Only website. So I thought it was a great episode. The first half of it was action-packed, and it was nice to go and see some other Nen users and some other characters that I don't know if they'll be fleshed out more as we get into it, but they have very cool powers. The guy that's able to write haikus and, you know, basho and be able to do that stuff. Even Melody, the little weird-looking troll gnome that's supposedly a girl, is able to, like, she doesn't come out and say what her power is, you know, but she's able to sense heartbeats. And because when they were going through the whole lie detector thing, you know, it could tell that the one dude with the dreadlocks, that his heartbeat rose as soon as he was accused, you know, which is the mark of somebody who's a liar, you know. And so very cool stuff. And then, of course, like I said, just the drop-dead gorgeous female character that, you know, that kisses people and they become her slaves, you know. Very cool stuff, man. Very cool stuff. Man, I am loving this. I am loving this. I don't know how many more episodes I'm going to watch today, but it's going to be a lot. So my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is ultimately, you know, what were your thoughts on just on Kurapika and obviously the different abilities that he's already been able to use with this ring finger chain that he has. Obviously, the offensive capabilities are very cool, but what are your thoughts too on them being able to use it? And they explain too how they were able to use to find like precious minerals and things like that. They were able to use a similar type of thing, like a pendulum swing, you know, to locate things. And it's been rumored that you could do that too with for like a lie detector test. So what were your thoughts on that, I guess? You know, do you like it? Is it too far-fetched? Is it stupid? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation.
Remember to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and my other channel.